Some of the theories we discussed here were quite influential for developing countries' decision-making in the 1960s and 70s, such as the adoption of the ISI policy, the import substitution industrialization we mentioned. However, most of the theories lost significance in practice since the 1980s, with the neoliberal approach taking over much of the theoretical debate and practice, specifically through the creation of the Washington Consensus. We will discuss the neoliberal approach and the Washington Consensus in depth in the development economics course. But for now, let's focus on the fact that after years of considering the exact form that governments should take in the development process, the neoliberal approach wipes away the role of the state and advocates fiercely for the domination of market forces. This includes policy prescriptions such as liberalization of trade and financial services and the adoption of market-friendly policies such as privatization and reduced quotas or subsidies. These are believed to have the power to generate development and eradicate poverty. Interestingly, Gore notes that it is not only the switch towards market-oriented policies which caused the creation of a paradigm shift in the world of international development, but also the move away from a historical perspective that the theorists took, as mentioned earlier, to a ahistorical one, which focuses on countries' performance in reaching goals such as poverty reduction and improvement of well-being. Generally speaking, neoliberal approach to growth and development assume the state is a bureaucratic, inefficient, and even corrupt entity, which is unable to promote economic growth, let alone poverty reduction or development efforts. This assumption is based on classical theory as well as the performance of various developing countries during the 1970s and early 80s, which led to its own accord to the debt crisis of early 1980s. Hence, international organizations sitting in Washington, D.C., specifically World Bank and the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, were called to assist these countries financially. These organizations agreed to do so as long as the countries take severe measures to minimize the role of the government in managing the economy. These demands, named the Washington Consensus, included demands to liberalize internal and external trade, as well as financial system. To a large degree, for the Washington Consensus advocates, development was seen as a process of trade liberalization and reintegration into the world capitalist system, which in turn would, in their mind, lead to improvement in living standards for all. The Washington Consensus and neoliberalism more generally have been very widely contested, and we will discuss their implication on developing countries in the development economics course at Glocal. For now, let's just note the interesting process which took place in the late 70s and early 80s, in which, on one hand, development became to be seen as a process of improving one's quality of life, focusing on the personal aspects and the state or other actors' ability to reach this person, in most cases living in poverty. On the other hand, it was seen again as the capitalist process in which all countries should join their liberalized trade system, which offers economic gains, as we know, mostly to the capital holders and not the poor themselves.